From the Peterson Event Center on the campus of the great University of Pittsburgh, welcome to the Pat Narduzzi Show inside Pitt Studios. I'm Larry Richard with Panthers head football coach Pat Narduzzi. Coach, let's start with a congratulations. Last Saturday, a dominating performance by your Panthers over Virginia Tech, 47-14. I know you felt good about that for all the right reasons, and especially for your seniors.
No doubt about it. I was really excited for our seniors. Got one of them here today. It was all about them that day, to be honest with you. Our kids came out ready to play, regardless of having some numbers that we were a little short at different positions. But so happy for our seniors. They've gone through so much, not only this season, but for 4 and 5 years. It's a game of football. It's a grind. The kids work their tails off, and they deserve to go out the right way at Heinz Field. They'll remember that last game at Heinz Field for a long, long, long time.
There were 18 missing members of your team, and your mantra for the week was next man up. Kenny Pickett talked to the team, you talked to them, and those young guys stepped up, and it was pretty impressive.
It really was. And, you never know what you have until you get an opportunity to go out there and go. And, we had some confidence in them. But you know what? You don't know until the lights turn on. And when the lights turned on, those guys executed and made some plays, and it was fun to watch.
One of the hidden statistics was that Kenny Pickett snap to throw was 2.25 seconds faster than most NFL quarterbacks. So he was getting the ball out, and DJ Turner turned in a nearly record-tying game with his effort. So it was something that, you guys.
Who's there with the stopwatch?
They got a guy. There's a guy for everything. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
There is a
was
guy.
He slow earlier in the year or what?
No, that was the fastest he got rid of the ball
all season,
from snap to throw, and it showed because you got those screens going, and it was really impressive.
Good. That's good to hear. I'll go tell Coach Whipple.
Yeah, well, Coach Whipple was on the Zoom call today, so.
Oh, you already got him with it?
He got a lot of questions on that. Now, I didn't ask him that question, but just a little hidden statistic.
Kenny was getting that ball out as quickly as he could. He didn't know what he was going to get, especially early. Might have been 1.5 early, and then went to 3 later on with the confidence.
When you go back and look at the tape, though, the offense, you moved the ball better on the ground. You mixed it up, but that screen was really working, and getting the ball out quick helped, too, all the way around. So I imagine you'll want to get the ball out quick this week in Death Valley against the Clemson Tigers.
No question about it. We want to do whatever we can do with the ball down there this week.
Yeah, and I know you think back, 27 consecutive games, the Tigers have the longest active streak in the nation at home. And the last loss they had was to you and your 2016 team. I remember it. I'll remember that forever myself. What a great, great day that was. But I know for Saturday that doesn't mean anything today. But your team, talking to Jimmy Morrissey, he remembers watching that game as a, back here at campus. And everybody wanted to know what was the mood like during the week.
Last week or in 2016 or this week?
Well, this week, off your win, and then thinking of what the mindset is going into a game like that to do what you did.
Yeah. Well, we've got Jason Pittock, which I know you haven't introduced him yet, but it's funny. Jimmy Morrissey was here, on campus, and Jason Pittock was lining up against some of the top receivers in the country that night, and they took, 10, it seemed like 15 shots as I watched it this week. I'm like, holy cow, I didn't realize, because you don't really go back and watch it like that, but they took some shots, and Jason, played one maybe his best games ever. Just when you watch it afterwards, years later, you're going, holy cow. They went after him. I think they hit Dane Jackson with one pass. But, our mood this week has been just like it is. There's so few guys that were there in 2016 that, it's just another game. I think once we get down there Friday, we land, it'll be something different. I think once we get in that stadium, it'll be different. There'll be some memories. But, this is 2020. It's COVID. We don't know what we're going down there with yet. We hope we're still traveling down there. We get to earn number 10, and the double digit in COVID year is pretty darn good. I don't know how many teams in the country get to play 10, but there's some teams in the top 10 that have played 3, and it's like we play 10 pretty soon. So it's another game.
It's not for us as the fans, though. We're looking forward to this one. It's the game of the week on ESPN Saturday afternoon at 3:30. By the way, we'll be on the air at 1:30 with our pregame, and when we come back, We'll talk about the Panthers Player Awards and the ACC accolades. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
We got to be smart. We have to have poise.
Larry Richard with head coach Pat Narduzzi. Let's talk about the accolades your players got. First in the ACC, Kenny Pickett, quarterback of the week. First Pitt player to twice throw for 400 yards in a game. DJ Turner, wide receiver of the week, 15 catches, 184 yards. Alex Kessman, 17 points, 5 for 5 on extra points, and 2 50-yard-plus field goals, extending his own school record, and 12 of 18 from 50-plus. That is currently an NCAA record. Damar Hamlin, co-defensive back of the week, game-high 11 tackles, and guard Bryce Hargrove, offensive lineman of the week. Wow. That's all three phases of the game. Defense, special teams, offense.
Got it all.
Pretty impressive. So you award, after a victory, your Panthers Player Award. So let's start with who were your players of the week?
Players of the week, special teams, obviously Kessman. You know, those first 9 points that he put up on field goals, you know, set the tone. You know, we wish those were 3 touchdowns, but, you know, he's been automatic, you know, since after, second, third game of the season. He's been just, I don't know what his field goal percentage is, but it's back on target, that's for sure. You know, Damar Hamlin on defense, he was outstanding. He was part of, you know, really all 3 of the fourth down stops that we had, especially that one down at the goal line. You know, he had 11 tackles. He really played a different position. I don't know if many people know. He's been playing field safety for the entire season and obviously the previous 4 seasons. But we moved him to the boundary, you know, just because of the absence of a boundary safety, and thought Eric Hallett would be into the field would be a good idea. But you know, we ended up having to flop him back and forth. But he was a killer. He does an unbelievable job. And then offensively, DJ Turner, Kenny Pickett. With that explosion. Did you say Kenny Pickett only the second quarterback?
In Pitt history, yeah.
He's the only quarterback in Pitt history.
That's great. First Pitt player to twice throw for 400 yards in a game.
I get all the stats when I come on this show. I'm going to come to the show more often.
It's a good show.
It is a good show.
You can see it.
You guys, I don't look at all that stat. That's pretty, you know, let's get 3. Let's get another one.
And you had a patchwork offensive line. Didn't know how that would go. They did a terrific job. So you gave your offensive linemen all of them. That's
all of them.
I think that's appropriate.
It really was. We thought about, you know, one. It's like, golly, really. I mean, it takes all 5, and they really all graded out well. Unsung hero, special teams, Cal Adamitis did a great job snapping. You know, defensively, Jason Pinnock with that great interception, but he played his tail off. You know, just, you know, executed at 94% grade. Was excellent in coverage all day. Devin Danielson, again, was really good inside. Again, those D tackles are unsung heroes every week. They make things happen when you're top 5 defense, rush defense in the country. You know, those guys are always playing well. And then Jalen Barden, I think he was the surprise of the day. Everybody knows who the rest of those guys are, but Jalen Barden, 5 catches, 65 yards, just a young kid that is really fast, and he's going to be a special player for the future.
And then the defensive attack force player of the week is?
Cam Bright was all over the place with 5 tackles, you know, a sack and a half, and you know, he's just explosive. You know, he's that field linebacker.
And your Rocks players of the week, those are the guys that run the scout team.
Yeah, you know, offensively we had, you know, Matt Altsman, who really was taking snaps. He's a true freshman from Central Catholic, taking snaps with the 2 offense during the week because of the issues we had on the offensive line. Right. He was taking the snaps. You know, he's a great kid. Did a nice job getting the snaps to Kenny and the quarterbacks. So he was our Rock player of the week as well. Bam Brema was our defensive Rock of the week, and then special teams, Jake McGonicky was our special teams player of the week.
And what a week it was. Now, you erase all that. We're going to turn our attention to the Clemson Tigers, ranked 4th in the country. They are 7-1. Their only loss came in a overtime matchup with Notre Dame. And when we come back, your player of the week, the guest is Jason Pinnock. Number 15, senior cornerback, will join us when we return to the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Welcome back to the Pat Narduzzi Show. This is it, our final Pat Narduzzi Show, because when you play Georgia Tech in a couple of weeks, that's on a Thursday night, so our schedule. This is it, Coach, and on this Thanksgiving weekend, I want to tell you how grateful I am and honored to cover and follow your team. I do it because I love it, and I've enjoyed every minute of it, so thank you.
Hey, I appreciate it, Larry. I'm grateful for you and the way you treat us, and we're happy you get to follow us. I wish you could follow us in person on the road this weekend.
It's killing me not to go to Death Valley because that was such an amazing trip 4 years ago. And they ended up winning, of course, the national championship that year, the Clemson Tigers, with that one blemish on their record. And then a couple of years ago when you were the Coastal champs, met in the championship game. That didn't go as well, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But we want to introduce Coach's special guest, senior cornerback, Jason Pinnock, number 15 from Windsor, Connecticut. You had a great game. Congratulations, senior.
Appreciate it, Larry. Thank you.
What was that like? Go out in the field before the game. It was pretty emotional, I'm sure, for your family and friends to be there.
Yeah, it was very emotional for me. Just seeing those videos, seeing your family, and it sucks, you can't run out there with them. And, being able to see my family at home, seeing familiar stuff around them, knowing that place in the house, it was cool seeing them.
You know what, Coach? I really like what the Pitt team did with the videos with the families. I think you keep that in the future as part of it because that was really cool. Jason, you love that, right?
Yeah, I love it too because I want the video. So
we already got it sent to your family.
Okay,
sure,
cool.
I think you get them all. I think you'll get them all. I already made sure. We talked to Casey the other day, and she said she was going to make sure everybody got those. But I thought it was awesome. I mean, obviously the families couldn't come on the field, but in place of that, I thought it was a great touch, and it made it feel like they were right there with you.
Yeah, actually, that was it was a really nice touch for Senior Day, and you made Monday Night Football with your pick as one of the big highlights. So congrats on that.
Appreciate it.
What was going through your mind when that ball was coming out?
Go get it. Go make a play.
So you just grabbed it off. I mean, it was what I would say a combat catch, right?
Yeah, it was. So I kind of seen him stumble when he went to jump, and I had already loaded up, and I was over top of him. So I just tried to grab it and rip it away.
Well, that was a key. That really set the tone because once you did that, it's like you guys really poured it on. And once again, for the second game in a row, I thought your team overall, especially the defense, you kept getting stronger as the game went on.
Yep, and that's what we, I kind of talked with Coach Collins right before we went out on half, and he says this thing to our DBs, go take the air out, so that's what I ended up doing. I think it took a lot of their momentum away, coming out in the half to a play like that.
What do you think back as a senior on your experience here at the University of Pittsburgh and in the city of Pittsburgh?
Well, I'm a big nostalgic guy, so it's like seeing Tower, seeing Sutherland, and something we mentioned in our senior videos, seeing all these guys and looking at pictures from 4 years ago, looking at us so young, how much we grew and matured, whether that's on or off the field, is amazing to see.
So you've been to Death Valley. You know what that atmosphere was like then. It's not going to be the same, but the Tigers are a perennial, top-tier team. They got a lot of talent. You're facing one of the top quarterbacks. Looks like he'll be the #1 pick in the NFL, and Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. So how do you keep those guys bottled up?
Well, now I've never been down to Death Valley, so this would be a first for me. I'm a young senior.
Oh, that's right. It was ACC. He wasn't.
I'm a young senior. I've only seen him in Bank of America Stadium.
Oh, okay.
So this would be my first time down in Death Valley, but I'm ready for the challenge. It's guys that are just as good as they're advertised, and we're ready for the challenge. And we're ready to see them.
Is there anything you look different? I mean, I know they're a great opponent, but you go into this game, people say, well, you got no chance, Jason. The naysayers say that. Mm-hmm. Do you block all that stuff out?
I've blocked the naysayers out my whole life. I'm a small town kid from Connecticut. If I let the naysayers control me, I'd be on my couch in Connecticut. So I'm ready for the challenge.
So how is it that you ended up at the University of Pittsburgh?
They got me quick. I was a Boston College commit for about 7 months, all through my season. Coach Conklin at the time, defensive coordinator. I think he's the head coach at Wofford now. Came to see me one of my semifinal games. Came to my living room that night right after the game, showered up, and offered me. And I think I was out there in about a week, about 10 days. Took a visit, fell in love with it, fell in love with the people. Cam Bright, Darian Street, Jalen Twyman, Todd Sibley. You know, it felt like a family, you know, and it was they got me quick. I think I committed maybe a week or so right after my visit.
We're with senior cornerback Jason Pinnock. Curious, we ask all the guys this question about how living under this COVID has changed your, perspective on life, even outside of football.
I think it is giving a lot of young guys a big responsibility, and you got to be selfless now. It's guys got to sacrifice partying, guys got to sacrifice things that you probably came to college to enjoy. And I think it's the younger guys are really maturing faster than we probably did because you have such a responsibility like this.
Are there things that you took for granted before that you don't now?
Is it? Oh, it's a bunch. You really. I run out my car and I'm like, I forgot my mask. I got to run back. It's a different life. It's a different life. It's definitely crazy, and I never imagined the pandemic. In my college career. I thought I was going to enjoy college how everybody else did.
Well, guess what, Coach? We didn't see this one coming either, right?
Nobody did. But our kids, like he said, our kids have done a lot of sacrificing this year, and that's something I'm thankful for.
Yeah, to be where you are, getting ready to play Game 10 in a season, and you see what's happening in college football. There were 18 games postponed last weekend, so nothing's for sure. And the Pittsburgh Steelers and their Ravens game had to move from Thanksgiving night to Sunday afternoon.
I am really mad about that.
Yeah.
Because you
Thanksgiving
were looking
night,
forward to
it's one game that I could sit down and
one
watch.
game you could
Right.
watch.
The one game.
Well, you know what now, Coach? You'll have to watch a movie with your wife, Donna.
Oh,
I'm thinking
she's going to want to watch a Christmas movie.
Yes, something maybe The
Come
Notebook or something like that.
Get in the spirit.
I will fall asleep right away, guaranteed. I'll be out.
Jason, what kind of movies do you like to watch?
Like I said, I'm a nostalgic guy. I like old movies, A Christmas Story, because you got to get in the holidays.
Come to my house, man.
Fat Albert, Like Mike, a bunch of stuff, man. Old movies that I used to watch with my family.
And now that you're the Dennis Briggs to the younger players, what's the message to the young guys?
Just my biggest thing is integrity, just being them at all times, no matter who's around, and because I think what people don't understand now is that in this day and age, social media is so easy to get clouded, and become something you're not, or what you were raised to be. And integrity is something I preach to the young guys a lot.
Well, I get a sense, Coach, that Jason has a lot of integrity.
No question about it.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you Saturday, Death Valley against the Clemson Tigers. Good luck to you there, and good luck in your future, Jason. We're going to be rooting for you.
Thank you.
Jason Pinnock, senior quarterback Pat Bostic is going to join us, and our color analyst. When we come back, you're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
We got to be smart. We have to have poise. One, two, three,
We're back, Pitt Studios inside the Peterson Event Center. Larry Richard with head coach Pat Narduzzi. And we welcome former Pitt quarterback, our color analyst, and associate athletic director of Major Gifts, Pat Bostic. Pat?
How we doing?
Good. Good broadcast, good game on Saturday for Senior Day. Looking forward to the number 4 Clemson Tigers and the Panthers. What you need to know about Clemson is brought to you by PNC Bank. Make today the day. They're one of the top teams in the country. We all know that. Coach, they're loaded. A lot of talent at every position. Tough to find the weaknesses, but you found a way to do it before. How do you unwind what Clemson's got going in Death Valley this weekend?
Well, we got to go down healthy and we got to be fresh. That's the first thing, and our guys got to be locked in. I think our guys will be excited to go down there and play. It is a talented football team. We know that. We know that quarterback and that tailback ETM are great players. Those are going to be the top two players. That'll be the biggest matchup, as far as him throwing the ball and him running the ball. You can forget the defense, the whole deal. To me, those are the two best players on their football team, and everything revolves around them.
Pat, how do you scout the Tigers this year?
Oh, they're really good. I mean, Trevor Lawrence hasn't played in 4 or 5 weeks now, so he's been itching to play. I know he expressed some disappointment not playing down in Tallahassee, so they'll be fired up. It's their last home game.
It's senior day.
This is a senior day for them. They're looking to – it seems like every year the senior class is looking to be the best senior class they have in terms of record, and Deshaun Watson wanted to do that back in 2016, and obviously the Panthers were up to the task that day. But I think they'll be a hungry team. They haven't played in a while. Trevor Lawrence, their leader, hasn't played in a while. He's really good, obviously. I mean, he's talented. He's more mobile than you think for a guy that big. And I'm impressed with ETN out of the backfield. They've thrown the ball a lot. He's got 37 catches. I mean, they haven't run the
second leading receiver.
Yeah, I mean, next to Amari Rodgers, who I felt like was there in 2016. I mean, he's been there forever. And ETN's 37 catches. I mean, he's been as much of the game plan in the passing game as he is in the run game. They haven't run the ball as well as they have in the past. And, I think they're obviously relying on him out of the backfield, and teams are stacked up against him.
You hear of them putting him in space, right, coach? Isn't that the terminology? Getting ETN out there. He has 634 yards rushing, but he has 10 touchdowns on the ground and then 491 passing with 2 TDs. So he's kind of a dual threat running back.
They all are nowadays, but he's special. He's as fast as you can get. I mean, that guy's going to be a big-time NFL player.
And your mantra is always stop the run. And, how do you have explosive players, so you can't let up for a second.
It's one play. I mean, and again, the thing about ETM is you are just a little bit out of your gap, and he's going to be able to hit it. Some guys will miss the hole, and we'll get away with it. But our guys are going to have to be just about perfect up front. Don't give that guy. You give him a crease, he will hit it really, really fast. He's no question the best back we've seen in the last 6 years here.
How is Trevor Lawrence, and Pat, as a former quarterback, changed since the ACC championship game a couple of years ago? What have you seen in his progression?
I mean, the talent's the same. I mean, obviously he's gotten stronger. He's gotten more refined. I think it's just the understanding of their offense. And they've had a change of coordinator. Jeff Scott's at USF now, right, South Florida. But really their offense has been the same. It runs through him. He has an understanding for what defenses try to do to him. He's got a great understanding of the talent he has around him. And he's got an answer, for what you bring at him. So the key is to keep the ball in front of you and try to mix things up on him and get him to have a little bit of indecision. Obviously, with this pass rush that the Panthers have, if you can, get an extra half second, that gives you a chance to get to him a little bit. And then obviously he can scramble. So he's really good. He's all the way around. There's not a weakness. You just got to play solid football against him and make him earn it. You can't give him the cheap big ones. That's how a team like this can run away from you. If they get the cheap big ones, then you're going to dig yourself a hole.
Trevor Lawrence wasn't playing when Boston College went down there and gave them all they could handle, at least for the first half. What did you see, Coach, in the other players? And by the way, their backup quarterback wasn't too shabby either.
Yeah, he's not too shabby, but he's no Trevor Lawrence.
No.
Okay. So I wish we were as lucky as Boston College to go in there. But we're going to face the best, and I'd rather go down there and see what we have in our passing game and in our pass rush. But Boston College plays tough. I mean, they're a good football team, and they play coverage. They mix it up. You got to mix up the coverages a little bit against this guy, or you're in trouble. You don't want to play so many that you can't play anything well. So there's a balance there, but it'll be a fun game.
Thanksgiving, how are you going to spend it? How's your team spending it? And then you're on the road.
Boy, I know how I'm going to spend it. We're going to practice in the morning, get all our meetings done in the morning, and hopefully by 1 o'clock, 1:30, I'll get the staff out of the office so they can go home and spend time with their family. But, like the governor needs us to do, kind of separate. I hope our kids, we had a big Thanksgiving meal today after practice where they, it was about as good as you're going to get. So I had one today, I'm going to have one tomorrow. I'm starting to look like it. But so our kids are going to hopefully just be, socially distant from a lot of people and, try to still earn that number 10. That's why I talk about, the sacrifices our kids are making. Normally it'd be like, we'd be, hey, who's making sure everybody's at a house right now? I'm not even talking about, like, we used to, everybody had a place to eat. If it didn't, you come to my house, come to Coach Partridge's house, whoever house it is. But, like, we're not doing that this year, and I feel bad.
Coach, what are you thankful for?
What am I thankful for? I am thankful, number one, it starts with family. For my wife and 4 kids, I couldn't do what I do without them. And then I'm thankful for this football team. I really am. I mean, you talk about taking things for granted and getting to play, but, I am thankful that they've been so persistent as far as, how they've acted off the field, the sacrifices they've made. I'm just thankful that they've done what they've done and given us an opportunity to coach them in 2020.
Pat, happy Thanksgiving, partner. Looking forward to seeing you Saturday as we prepare. 1:30 is the pregame show.
Hey, I was like an hour and a half early last Saturday, so I'm going to do that this week.
3:30 kickoff, the Clemson Tigers and the Pitt Panthers in Death Valley. Thank you, Patrick.
Happy Thanksgiving, Larry.
You too, partner. Coach Pat Narduzzi, good luck against the Clemson Tigers.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there.
You got it. And we want to thank our executive producer, PJ Kamancic, Amanda Soleil producing here at the Pete all season, Cale Berger back in master control, and his game day contributions, Pitt's Paul Bartow, his team, who do an outstanding job with all their productions, and Casey Garrow inside the bubble. Appreciate her efforts. A special thanks to Executive Associate Athletic Director of Media Relations, E.J. Borghetti, for his outstanding work all season, providing the press and me with everything necessary to do our best in covering the Panthers. He is the best, and we appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving. This is Larry Richards saying, hail to Pitt.